Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're heading deep into the harsh, untamed savanna of northern Tanzania to explore the incredible Hadza tribe. Okay, let's dive into this. The Hadza live a life that, frankly, most of us can barely comprehend. They rely completely on an ingenious array of ancient survival tools to thrive in an environment where uncertainty is hiding behind literally every bush.
50,000. That is a massive number. It's not just a random figure, though. This represents the number of years the Hadza tribe has been living near Lake Eyasi. I mean, think about that. For 50 millennia, their fundamental way of life has survived essentially unchanged. In fact, they only made first contact with the modern world about 150 years ago.
Which brings us to the ultimate survival problem. The big question we're unpacking in today's Explainer. How exactly do you survive the wild savanna using only what nature provides? When you don't have a supermarket down the street, when you don't even have agriculture, how do you feed your family? Well, the answer lies in their incredible, highly specialized toolkit.
Section 1. The Ultimate Survival Challenge.
To truly appreciate their tools, we first need to understand the stark reality of their environment, right? Life out here is lived in its rawest form. When they're thirsty, they don't have filtered water on tap. They actually blow on muddy ponds to clear the surface and drink directly from them, relying on an incredibly strong immune system. When they eat, absolutely nothing goes to waste. They consume raw meat and soft bones, and if you were standing right there, you could actually hear the loud pops and cracks with every single bite. And while hunting, they're constantly battling stinging acacia thorns that just tear right through their clothes, all while navigating these steep, treacherous rock crevices to flush out their prey.
So the crucial point is the immense physical toll this lifestyle demands. 36,000 steps. That's what a Hadza hunter might walk in a mere 7 hours of tracking animals through the mountainous terrain. It is a completely exhausting, physically punishing endeavor just to secure a single meal.
Section 2. Crafting the Perfect Arrow, a customized tool.
This brings us to the primary tool of the Hadza arsenal. Now, it would be a huge mistake to call their gear primitive. Their main weapon is actually a highly customized piece of ancient technology. Let's break down the anatomy of a Hadza arrow. They start with a piece of wood that's meticulously shaved down to be as light as possible. But the most ingenious detail? To make sure the arrow flies perfectly straight, the hunters continually check it and actually use their own teeth to bend and fix any curves in the wood. They attach bird feathers for flight stability, and then they carve custom patterns right into the shaft. This way, if an arrow is lost and found, everybody knows exactly whose it is and who hit the target. And the customization doesn't stop at the arrows. The hunter's bows are decorated with unique patterns made from parts of the animals they'd previously hunted. It essentially acts as a visual resume. Just by looking at a hunter's bow, you can tell exactly how talented, experienced, and successful they are out in the wild. Pretty clever, right?
Section 3. Nature's Deadly Edge, a lethal poison.
To take down large prey, a sharp wooden stick just isn't always enough. This is where we shift to a true game-changing tool in their arsenal, a lethal poison extracted directly from their environment. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the multi-step alchemical process they use to create this weapon. First, they cut branches from a specific tree called the desert rose, chop it into pieces, and boil it in cold water. They carefully skim the foam, remove the wood, and let the liquid simmer down until it thickens. Then they transfer this essence onto a rock, add a splash of water and a bit of ash, and crush it all together with a stone. The result is a sticky, black, highly poisonous paste that they carefully coat onto their arrow tips. They literally turn a simple tree branch into a deadly weapon. And the arrow? It's a real multi-tool. A Hadza hunter can take that very same arrow, place it between his palms, and by rapidly spinning it to create friction, he can generate a life-saving fire in under 60 seconds. No matches, no lighter, just pure skill.
Section 4. Beyond the Bow, Secondary Arsenal.
Surviving the savanna requires a lot more than just archery. So let's expand our focus to look at the secondary, yet absolutely vital tools that make this lifestyle possible. Their secondary arsenal is brilliantly simple but highly effective. First, they use hunting dogs as a sort of radar system, the eyes and ears that spread out to cover vast terrain and track prey. When an animal hides in a deep rock hole, hunters quickly craft long sticks to flush them out. When they need to access a hive inside a baobab tree surrounded by thousands of stinging bees, they use a smoking fire stick to temporarily calm the swarm. And while the men hunt, the women use sturdy digging sticks to unearth nature's hidden nutrient storage units, wild tubers and potatoes.
Speaking of accessing beehives, honey plays a fascinating role in their society.
While our modern economy relies on abstract paper money and digital currencies, the Hadza economy is completely tangible and resource-based. To them, honey is their liquid gold. It's packed with energy and vital nutrients, making it their most consumed food. But it also serves as their physical currency, which they trade with outsiders for sharp metal tools, glass beads, tire shoes, and corn flour.
And this brilliantly illustrates a much larger difference in how they view the world. In our modern lives, we're totally surrounded by infinite math and strict time-based schedules, right? Well, in the Hadza language, 1 and 2 are the only numbers. Anything larger is just expressed as a general quantity because large numbers are just too abstract for a daily survival-focused reality. They don't use clocks, they don't use calendars, and they don't track time-based events like birthdays. It's a completely different way of existing.
Section 5. The Threat of Modernity, an Encroaching World.
Sadly, this incredible ancient way of life is currently facing severe existential threats as the modern world rapidly encroaches on their territory. In just the last 50 years, the Hadza have lost 90% of their land. Neighboring tribes have been cutting down trees and driving away wildlife to make room for their crops and livestock. With only 10% of their land remaining, there has been a severe drop in the animal population, making their hunting and gathering survival significantly more difficult.
Which brings us to this haunting quote from our source material. They are like a window to the past. They are the last of our first. The Hadza don't just represent a unique culture in Tanzania. They represent the very survival legacy of all humanity. They live in this world exactly as our ancestors did thousands of years ago. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Think about the ingenuity, the resilience, and the deep connection to nature we've explored today. What does humanity lose if these ancient survival skills, these primal technologies, disappear forever? It's something we all need to deeply reflect on. Thank you so much for joining me to learn about the